I'm Israel Folau. As Australians, we're born with the right to freedom of religion and the right to freedom of expression. The Christian faith has always been a part of my life, and I believe it is my duty as a Christian to share God's word. Rugby Australia tore up my employment contract for doing just that, and that's wrong. Every Australian should be able to practice their religion without fear of discrimination in the workplace. Like most Aussies, I grew up in a sports madhouse. As it is today, the church was always a big part of our lives and a focal point for our community. My parents made many sacrifices for me and my siblings to give us the opportunities they never had. With the support of my family, I was blessed to have been able to pursue sports as a career. It was an honour and a privilege to go on to represent Australia on the international stage. Unfortunately, because of my religious beliefs, it looks like I will not be given the opportunity to represent Australia again. I believe that upholding my religious beliefs should not prevent my ability to work or play for my club and country. Since my contract was terminated by Rugby Australia, I've been overwhelmed and humbled by the support received from family, friends, fans and the public. Even people who don't share my beliefs have defended my right to uphold and express them.
Kia ora, good evening. Israel Folau's controversial GoFundMe page has been taken down, with more than $700,000 in donations to be refunded. It comes as the pressure continues to build on his Silver Fern wife Maria Folau for supporting her husband online.
Israel Folau had been trying to raise $3 million for his legal fight against Rugby Australia, who terminated his contract after he tweeted a meme saying hell awaits homosexuals. Lisa Raymer reports.
If you want to join this journey with me...
Unfortunately, it's too late. Israel Folau's fundraising page is gone and the $750,000 in donations are heading back to where they came from.
We live in a democracy. Israel Folau can set up a GoFundMe page.
But GoFundMe says no, he can't. While the rugby star described his campaign as
fighting for what's right,
the crowdfunding website says it's a breach of their terms of service and they do not tolerate the promotion of discrimination or exclusion. A reference to the Instagram post that started it all, in which Folau warned hell awaits drunks, homosexuals, adulterers, liars and various other people. Folau had raised close to a third of his $3 million target, and while anyone who did donate will be refunded, those I've spoken to are vowing to find another way to get that money to Folau. And while only a dead link remains online, the fallout of the fundraising effort is still being felt now in the netball world.
Has so far cost my wife, Maria, and me over $100,000 in legal fees.
Folau's Silver Fern wife, Maria Folau, had reposted her husband's plea for donations. And while her South Australian netball club was confident she hadn't breached their social media policy,
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Aussie netball great Liz Ellis was quick to upgrade her disapproving side to scathing criticism of Netball Australia's inaction, suggesting they should have said anyone who is seen to support or endorse homophobia is not welcome in the game. And as much as she personally loves watching Maria Folau play netball, she does not want her sport endorsing the views of Folau's husband.
There is a bit of a challenge for Maria if she wants to be a role model for all young people.
Former Silver Fern and MP Louisa Wall says while it's up to Netball New Zealand to decide if there's an employment issue, it's clear Israel and Maria Folau are a package deal.
I don't know when he's ever going to wake up, but hopefully his wife will.
Maria due back in the country and on court wearing the Silver Fern this week, back at square one when it comes to hitting fundraising goals at least. Lisa Raymer, News Hub.
There are new developments in the Israel Folau funding row this morning. He's been thrown a lifeline by the Australian Christian lobby. It comes after his GoFundMe campaign was cancelled because of a backlash. The former Wallaby star has been making headlines since April 10 when he posted anti-gay comments on his Instagram page, including that homosexuals would go to hell. On May 17, Rugby Australia terminated his $4 million contract, but the devout Christian launched legal action claiming he was dismissed because of his religion. The saga didn't end there. Folau started crowdfunding, collecting over $750,000 in just a few days to help pay his legal bill.
And I believe it is my duty as a Christian to share God's word. Rugby Australia tore up my employment contract for doing just that. That's wrong.
His wife Maria has faced her own scrutiny after reposting his plea for monetary support on her Instagram account. After public outrage, GoFundMe cancelled his page and will refund everyone who has donated, saying, as a company, we are absolutely committed to the fight for equality for LGBTIQ plus people and fostering an environment of inclusivity. Our platform exists to help people help others. The Australian Christian Lobby has now launched a page on its own website to accept donations for Folau's legal fund, with the goal of raising $3 million. I'm joined now by Senator Erica Betts, who has called this a case of political correctness gone mad. Morning to you. Is the Australian Christian Lobby right to take up Folau's funding campaign?
Good morning. Everybody is right to take up Israel Folau's funding campaign. The GoFundMe group, in stopping Israel Folau from raising money, acted in a manner that I think would leave most of our viewers shaking their heads this morning. What on earth were they thinking? They're raising funds on a GoFundMe campaign for a mosque in Western Australia. They're allowing Green Senator Sarah Hanson-Young to raise money on her income for a legal battle she's involved in South Australia. And so you can go right around the country and then ask, why was Israel Folau's campaign stopped, other than it was highly popular, over 9,000 contributions, raising $750,000 in virtually no time at all.
If they're a private company, don't they have a right to do what they want?
But they don't have the right to serve out this nonsense to the Australian people, saying they believe in inclusivity, that's why they're excluding Israel Folau, that they believe in tolerance, but that is why they're discriminating against Israel Folau. Every single argument that they've tried to put forward in relation to stopping Israel Folau's campaign simply does not stack up, be it religion, be it in relation to legal funds, be it in relation to inclusivity. Every single argument just falls flat. As a result, it's quite clear that it's political correctness gone mad in GoFundMe. And can I quickly say Netball Australia's stance in relation to these matters has been superb, has been excellent, and that is the way Rugby Australia should have behaved. It's the way GoFundMe should have behaved.
Erica Betts, I went to church virtually every Sunday of my life till I left home. So I get the religion thing, I understand that. But if you are a Christian-minded person, out of the thousands of passages in the Bible, why would you post ones that hurt other people?
Well, it's a question of whether you believe that it hurts other people. Israel Folau...
Well, it clearly does, because lots of people are hurt by this.
Other people would argue, like Israel Folau, that it in fact helps people. And if you believe in free speech, that is what you allow within a community, because you could imagine that that which is happening to Israel Folau is hurting Israel Folau. So if the standard is that you might hurt somebody, then GoFundMe should have kept his page up. Rugby Australia should have kept employing him, because to sack him and to pull down his funding page clearly hurt Israel Folau. So if the standard is hurting somebody, then I think we've got some issues.
But if you call someone a name and they say, that's really offensive to me, that really hurts me, do you keep doing it?
Look, One would hope that people would not use names against each other that hurt each other, but the simple fact is that just because somebody takes offence at something does not stop the person saying it from being allowed to say it. In a country that has prided itself on free speech, of which freedom of religion is just a subset, I think we need to ensure that we allow people to have their say and allow the population to decide whether they agree, disagree or simply are discarded. One thing that interests me immensely is that all these people that don't believe in hell are somehow offended by the prospect that they might go to hell if they don't repent. And let's keep in mind that Izzy Folau did have that on his tweet, that it wasn't only that adulterers, people who are jealous, etc., and homosexuals would go to hell unless they repent. That is basically been the Christian faith, the Christian teaching for many, many years, and for people to pretend that they are somehow offended at this, I think stretches credulity a bit too far.
Yeah, but they are offended, and you can't choose whether you're gay, can you? But you can choose all those other things.